What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are counting down the top 10 most terrifying cursed objects in the entire world. I'm talking about things so scary, so unexplainable, that they make people's hair stand on end just by being in the same room. We're not just talking about spooky ghost stories your friend told you. We're talking about real, physical items that have a history of causing chaos, disaster, and even death. But here's the crazy part. Even scientists, the people who explain the world with logic and facts, are completely baffled by these things. Some are even straight up afraid to study them up close. Imagine something so mysterious that the smartest people on the planet look at it and just say, "We have no idea what's going on here, and we don't want to find out." That's the level of terrifying we're dealing with today. Kicking off our list is something that looks completely ordinary, but its story is anything but. It's called the Dybbuk box. Now, a Dybbuk in Jewish folklore is a malicious, restless spirit that possesses the living. And this small, unassuming wine cabinet is said to contain one. The legend started in 2001 when a man named Kevin Manis bought it at an estate sale. The seller, the granddaughter of a Holocaust survivor, warned him that the box was never, ever to be opened. She told him her grandmother always kept it shut and said it contained a Dybbuk. Of course, being a curious guy, Manis took it home, and what do you think he did? He opened it. Inside he found a few strange items. 2 1920s pennies, a lock of blonde hair bound with cord, a lock of black hair, a small statue, a dried rosebud, and a wine goblet. Immediately after opening it, strange things started happening. He and anyone who stayed at his house had the same terrifying nightmare of an old monstrous hag. Next up, we have an object of incredible beauty and immense value, but with a dark side that has terrified people for centuries. This is the Hope Diamond. It's a massive, 45.52 carat, deep blue diamond, and it's one of the most famous jewels in the world. But according to legend, it carries a deadly curse that brings misfortune and tragedy to anyone who owns or even touches it. The story begins in the 17th century with a French merchant named Jean-Baptiste Tavernier. He supposedly stole the massive blue diamond from the eye of a statue of the Hindu goddess Sita in India. As the legend goes, the priests of the temple put a curse on whoever possessed the stolen gem. Soon after, Tavernier was said to have been torn apart by wild dogs in Russia, although historical records say he just died of old age. The diamond was sold to King Louis XIV of France. He had it recut, and it became known as the French blue. He and his successor Louis XV seemed to be fine, but then it fell into the hands of Louis XVI and his wife Marie Antoinette. And we all know what happened to them. They were beheaded during the French Revolution. Imagine finding a beautiful antique silver vase from the 15th century. You'd think you hit the jackpot, right? Well, not if it's the Bassano vase. This object has one of the most direct and deadly curses on our list. The story is simple and brutal. Whoever owns this vase dies. There's no build-up, no series of unfortunate events, just death. The legend begins in the 15th century in a small village in Italy. A young bride was supposedly murdered on her wedding night, clutching this very vase. With her dying breath, she swore to have her revenge on anyone who dared to possess it. The vase was then passed down through her family, and with each new owner, a mysterious death followed. Fast forward to 1988. The vase was unearthed, supposedly by a construction worker digging a foundation for a new building. Inside was a piece of parchment with a chilling warning. Beware, this vase brings death. The person who found it, like something out of a horror movie, ignored the warning and sold the vase at an auction. It was bought by a local pharmacist. Within 3 months he was dead. His family then sold the vase to a surgeon who died 2 months later. The pattern was becoming terrifyingly clear. Our next cursed object isn't a single item but an entire army made of clay, guarding a tomb that no one has dared to fully open. We're talking about the Terracotta Army and the tomb of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. Back in 1974, a group of farmers digging a well near Xi'an, China, stumbled upon one of the greatest archaeological finds in history. Thousands of life-sized clay soldiers, horses and chariots, all buried to protect their emperor in the afterlife. But with this incredible discovery came a terrifying curse. The local farmers who first discovered the army are said to have been the first victims. Legend has it that a curse was placed upon the tomb to protect the emperor's eternal rest. Those who disturb the slumber of the emperor will be met with death and ruin. Soon after the discovery, strange things began to happen to the farmers. One of them took his own life. Others died prematurely from unknown illnesses. Their land was taken by the government for excavation and they fell into poverty. The local community believes to this day that they were punished for waking the spirit army. Can a simple painting be cursed to start fires? That's the terrifying legend behind the Crying Boy. This isn't just one painting, but actually a series of mass-produced prints that were super popular in the UK back in the 1980s. The original painting was done by an Italian artist named Giovanni Bragolin. The subject is a sad-looking little boy, tears welling up in his big, sorrowful eyes. The story really exploded in 1985 when a British newspaper, The Sun, published an article titled, "Blazing Curse of the Crying Boy." It told the story of a firefighter in Yorkshire who claimed that, in the rubble of numerous house fires, he kept finding the same thing, a print of the crying boy, completely untouched by the flames while everything else was burned to a crisp. The firefighter was so convinced it was bad luck that he said no firefighter would ever allow a copy of the painting in their own home. After the article was published, the newspaper was just flooded with calls and letters from people all over the country who had similar stories. They owned a crying boy print, their house had caught on fire, and the painting had mysteriously survived the blaze. The public panic became so widespread that the Sun organized a mass bonfire on Halloween, where readers could send in their prints to be burned and lift the curse. We've already talked about one cursed diamond, but this next one is arguably even more sinister. Meet the Black Orlov diamond, also known as the Eye of Brahma. Like the Hope diamond, its story begins with a theft from a Hindu idol in India. This 67.5 carat, gunmetal black diamond was supposedly one of 3 eyes in a statue of the Hindu god of creation, Brahma. Legend says that when the diamond was stolen by a monk, a terrible curse was placed upon it, dooming its owners to a violent end. The diamond eventually made its way to Russia, where it was owned by a princess named Nadia Vegan Orlov, which is where it gets its modern name. In 1932, during the Russian Revolution, she fled to Rome, Italy. Shortly after arriving, in an act of desperation and despair, she leaped to her death from a tall building. The next known owner was another Russian princess, Leonila Galitzin-Baryatinsky. She also acquired the diamond and just a month later also jumped to her death in an apparent suicide. 2 princesses, 2 suicides. The diamond was eventually acquired by a New York diamond dealer named Charles F. Winson. He was well aware of the curse and decided to take a drastic measure to try and break it. He had the diamond, which was originally a massive 195 carats, recut into 3 smaller stones. Has the curse been broken? It seems so. Since the diamond was recut, there have been no further reports of suicides or tragedies associated with its owners. For our final object, we're traveling to one of the most haunted places in America, the Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana. The plantation has a long and tragic history, but one object inside is said to be the most active and terrifying of all, a large, ornate mirror that hangs in the main hallway. This isn't just any old mirror, it's believed to be a cursed portal that has trapped the souls of a mother and her children, who can still be seen within its reflection. The legend centers around a woman named Sarah Woodruff and her 2 children, who lived on the plantation in the 19th century. The story goes that they were poisoned by a slave named Chloe, who baked a cake with toxic oleander leaves. After their deaths, according to tradition, all the mirrors in the house were supposed to be covered to prevent their spirits from getting trapped. However, this one particular mirror in the hallway was overlooked. As a result, it's believed that the spirits of Sarah and her children became imprisoned inside the glass. For over a century, guests and employees at the Myrtles Plantation, which is now a bed and breakfast, have reported terrifying experiences with the mirror. People claim to see ghostly figures appearing in the reflection, standing behind them when no one is there. But the creepiest phenomena are the handprints. Visitors and staff frequently report finding child-sized handprints on the mirror's surface, even moments after it has been thoroughly cleaned. They appear out of nowhere, as if a child from the other side is pressing their hands against the glass, trying to get out. And that is our list of 7 cursed objects that terrify even scientists. From a box that holds a demon to a mirror that traps human souls, these stories are absolutely chilling. It's crazy to think that these physical items, things you could theoretically touch, carry such dark and powerful legends with them. I want to know what you guys think, so drop a comment down below and tell me which one of these objects you found the most terrifying. So, what's the final verdict? Do you believe in curses? Are these objects truly imbued with a supernatural energy that causes death and destruction? Or is there a scientific explanation for all of this that we just haven't figured out yet? Maybe it's all just a series of unbelievable coincidences mass hysteria, and stories that have been exaggerated over hundreds of years. It's one of those debates where there's no easy answer, which makes it even more fascinating to think about. Let me know your theories in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video made you question reality just a little bit. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of the unexplained, and you want to see more videos about mysteries, legends, and insane challenges, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. We have so many more crazy videos planned, and you are not going to want to miss them. We'll see you in the next one.